Welcome, everybody, to Nothing Less Than Extraordinary. And I'm loving looking at Rich Kozak over there. Rich, thank you for making your time and for being here, a busy man. So I appreciate you being on our podcast today.
This is precious time. I'm glad to be with you. And for those listening, this may bring some joy to your business and to your life. So Stay tuned.
Awesome. So today's topic that we're going to be doing is, you know what? I'm actually going to leave this to Rich because the memory just went in and out. So I don't want to screw up the title. So do you remember the time?
We were going to make it. Now is the time to define the brand you will become.
Excellent. I love that. Thank God I got Rich there for me because there's a lot going on in this brain that I can't register the title. And a little brief introduction of Rich because he is so many things, but to give him a proper introduction and to do him justice, let me just introduce him slightly so that you get to know him and all of his amazing story to come. So Rich Kozak is a passionate, heart-connecting entrepreneur, best-selling author, and impact-driven brand architect and strategist. As a certified global branding consultant with decades of experience defining and languaging brand alongside partner worldwide impacting hundreds of industry, he now shares his gift with entrepreneur determined to make an impact on people's lives or the world. Rich, the founder and CEO of Rich Brand and impact-driven publishing, brings over 4 decades of experience helping entrepreneurs find clarity that aligns with everything their brand says and does. His brand promise is get clarity for the impact you will make and step for the brand you will become. What an intro. Woo! And so much more. Just that I'm like, okay, let's hear this man. A standing ovation.
Sounds like you should be extremely tired, but I got a lot of energy. There's a lot more to do. So let's have some fun.
Exactly. We're going to have an amazing time. But that's really just a small glimpse to what Rich does and all of his many talents. So I'm so happy to have this beautiful man and heart center and family oriented to be here spending the next hour with us. Rich, let's dive in. This is a platform to highlight you, your life story. How about we start with how that you grew up? Where were you from? What state? And how that looked like the young Rich?
Oh, golly. Born in West Virginia in a town so small, I had to import boys for my 3rd birthday party. My dad was a professor. We moved to Penn State, which is right in the center of Pennsylvania. And I spent most of my growing up years there. So, I played baseball, imagining that I was going to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates and, just like most kids, right? Although unlike most kids, I started playing violin in 2nd grade, which made me special. My parents are both musicians and educators, so I got a lot of support from home. I got into theater. I wanted to make money, and I told my dad when I was 13, I wanted to get a job, and he goes, "You can't get a job. You're 13." So he said, "Paint my house." And that turned into a painting business, which I named and advertised in the local paper when I was 14, 15, 16. I painted houses during the summer, made a ton of money. It was great. Hired other people to work with me for me. That was great. And then somebody asked me to play in their soul band. And I'm like, what? Okay. So I sang in a soul band. So we're talking about, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, Temptations, Knock on Wood, Sam and Dave, the soul band, right? 15 years old, and booked the band in Penn State fraternities, named the booking agency, started booking 25 other bands, and ran a booking agency until I graduated from high school, made a ton of money. I forgot I sold my toys on the playground, and I made fireworks and sold them to people. So it's like I was having business all the time. And then somebody asked me to be in a band that they were putting together because of my I have a real high falsetto voice, kind of Graham Nash voice in the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young realm. And it was that kind of a band. So I said, okay, because I knew all the guys because they were in bands that I were booking. And we formed a band called Morning Song. And we ended up traveling for years. We had to cut a record. Got a phenomenal Billboard review and sort of had that dream that and didn't get a contract, but I traveled with a rock band for quite a while. That was interesting. And I did all the business, so I did all the, we did all the interviews and got distribution for the album and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then finished college, got my degree in marketing, and got a job, so I didn't have to, because I playing a rock band, you don't make a lot of money. So I got a job working for a Fortune 50 company.
Okay.
Learned how to go through the chairs and be that kind of, live that life, right? Wear the suits, be on expense account, industrial, big company, good human company. I picked them because of the people. But after 7 years, I didn't feel like I fit. So I resigned. By that time, they had transferred me to Los Angeles, and I had become, in my spare time, president of the American Marketing Association in my spare time. And then I got elected to the national board of the AMA because in my presidential year, we did like 38 events and I won awards, and all my people were great. It was super. Yeah. So now I'm on the board of the AMA, and one of my friends asked me to be the executive vice president of his high-tech ad agency.
Yeah.
And I did that for almost 20 years. And that integrates everything. It integrates the research I did, it integrates the sales I did, it integrates being in the factories, being with engineers, being with people who run businesses, and literally firing on all those cylinders as you help companies see what makes them unique and portray that to the world they want to touch. And that's how the branding, I mean, I'd created names and, ever since I was a kid, but on big boy level. And then we joined a partnership that was in 21 countries at the time. And I became a certified global branding consultant, meeting with people from all these different countries, moving brands from country to country. My job was to sit on global brand teams and move them from, in this case, Europe to the United States. Laws are different and so forth. So, but you learn the brand where they grew up and live, and then you transfer them to where they're going. So I was addicted to that. I just absolutely loved it. And I was very, very good at it. And a very uplifting childhood. Parents said, "Oh, you want to play violin? Great. Oh, you want to, play bass? Great. I want to go to East Coast Model United Nations? Great. How can we support you?" I grew up in a very supportive environment of educators and musicians and people who, who created things in their head and created things in their hearts and created things on instruments, and truly learned in many ways that one of the reasons I resigned my corporate career is I could not see in my own mind's eye my success. I couldn't see where I was going. And if I can't see it, I can't get there. The positive part of that is if I can see it, even if I make it up, I can make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. And that will lead me to a juicy quote that I will leave you at the very end of this if you ask me. And so there I was in graduating from high school, not knowing. I wanted to do everything, travel the world and bite off all the life I can chew and speak languages and live abroad, hey, but what I want to become, I know. And what did I become? I became a branding consultant that helps companies guide them what they must become to be successful at their business strategy. That's ironic. You teach what you need. Okay. So, hey, welcome to the world. You teach what I get it. Now, when I turned 50, I was addicted to my job. I was doing all-nighters. And at 50, and I changed my prayers, Lord, I'm addicted to this job. I'm going to resign this addictive career, which I love, but it's controlling me, or I'm letting it. And I'm going to reshape my life. Show me what you want me to do, Lord. I'm ready. And I've been in show me mode ever since. And after a few years, people started asking me to help individuals because I was working on big companies. My biggest client was $14 billion company. Right. and we handled, some $100 million software company stuff, but we had a bunch of, different kinds of companies. But I started helping individuals who were asking me to help them with their brands. And what I realized was my journey perfectly prepared me to help an individual who really wants to impact somebody else with what they do, to create a uniquely languaged and defined brand that speeds them to those impacts they want to make and speeds them to the abundance that it will bring them from a business standpoint, and creates a platform from which they can step into why they're really here, because our businesses are not necessarily why we're here. They might be a vehicle, and sometimes our purpose and our businesses combine. And if we can get them that's great. But branding is good for a lot of things. It's certainly good for building a platform for a business. And if we can step from that, if it makes it easier for us to step into why we're here, and, because God's given us all power and purpose, and if we pay attention and we step into it, what a great life. Praise God. Absolutely. So now I get to do this work instead of having to, or, just wanting to. I love doing it. So when you ask me how I was this morning, wow, I'm blessed. I mean, who do you know who gets up every morning and gets to do exactly what they're made to do? Wow. I mean, that's a blessing. So
it's a blessing.
Did that help?
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, let me start by saying, wow, what a life story that is. You took us through this journey through years and years of all of this different adventure and excitement and the not knowing, and to completely going from what you wanted and trying to eat a mouthful of everything life have to offer to being the guy that's doing brand. And then realizing, when you're asking God, like, how can I serve the world? And here you are on a mission to helping entrepreneur, making an impact so that the world could be a much better place for our children, our grandchildren, and so that we leave some kind of a legacy. So one, I have to say, Rich, it is powerful. It is amazing. I am so grateful that you found that calling, or actually finally finding a way to doing this at your own freedom and wanting to serve at a higher level. That for me is huge and it's big. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. We all get to. That's the beautiful message. We all get to. Very neat.
And what I really love about what you said is, when you're doing the things that you love, it doesn't feel like work. Like when I get to work with my clients, when I get to see their growth and their progress, and to see them from going from pain and agony to feeling amazing. Today, I actually had one of my clients, she was in tears from yesterday of not feeling good enough, feeling like a failure. And then after our 1 hour session, she was brighten up and she's like, that's exactly what I needed today. That boosts me up in that energy, and to gain like a shift into her mindset and feeling centered and well rooted. I was like, I can't believe I get to do this. This is not a freaking job. This is amazing. And I get paid to do this shit.
Yeah, there you go. That's a sign. That's kind of one of God's signs. Like, maybe you should be doing this. Yeah.
And it's so funny because I text my boyfriend. I was like, how was your day, honey? I said, it's beyond fabulous. I'm always surprised by my own ability to do this type of work. I blow my own mind.
Well, I'm glad at your young age that you have landed on it. You will touch a lot of lives, and praise God. I mean, we're all here for two reasons. One is to love, share love, and the other is to praise God, and everything else is man-made. So if we don't get those two right, we need to go back to number one. Seriously.
What I
Mm.
really enjoy, like connecting with you is just at a much deeper level than most people. Some people you connect with, they're all amazing people, but it's always on the surface. What I really enjoy in terms of our connection together, I get to go down deep. I get to go into getting to know who Rich is and kind of like not just diving on the surface. There's so much about you that I don't know yet, but I love that our conversation doesn't just stay on the surface. We can dive deep, talk about family. And the other thing I want to highlight is I love the relationship that you have with your wife. You told me about it. So talk to me a little bit about this amazing lady, because it takes a strong man and a strong woman to be together. So tell me, because I'm fascinated by love. So I'm fascinated to hear about your story.
Well, I'll tell you about three things, and one I've never told anybody before, and it'll be our first kiss. But I'll leave that till the end, because people always, nobody ever talks about that. But and anyway, so number one thing is we've been married for 46 years and 51 Valentine's days. We've been together, okay. And so when I close my eyes and I think about the day we were married, and my voice might crack because it almost always does, I can picture her in the back of the church with her father on her father's arm. And I feel like I am the luckiest man in the world that this woman would choose me to be her husband. And I can bring that feeling back in any moment that I think about that picture. That's always a good sign too. So what a blessing. And my wife is one that she is like I said to you when you and I talked about your background, my wife was trained in social work and she has a heart for other people. She happens to work in a hospital as a case manager, but she uses all these skills. And so she loves people. She listens to people. She helps people. She's kind. Um, and she's good looking. And
That
and
always
she
helps.
has this wonderful smile. And so when I'm doing something professional, I'm in a group, or I'm doing, I'm at an event or something, and I bring her, people, they find out about her. They're always asking about her. I say, well, I'm going to be there. And they go, is Denise coming? It's like, hey, how about me? So she becomes, the star, right? So she'll stop into my office to kiss me goodbye or something. And people will go, hi. Yeah. I'm like, really? Okay. Anyway, she just fall in
All
love with her.
about me, please.
Yeah, and whatever. It's not about me. I'm married for 46 years. Yes, dear. I get it. Okay. So our first kiss, we had met at Penn State, and we didn't want to. We met on a blind date, and I didn't want to speed things up. So it took, I don't know what it was, 6 weeks, 6 months. It was a long, long time. And we went on a picnic, and it's in central Pennsylvania. So we went out in some farmer's field that has big old piles of hay and these little streams, and we had this little picnic. And there's no signs around like no trespass. It was then, and fine. So we're out there having this little picnic by the stream, and we're walking through the field, and she climbs up on this big pile of hay, and then she slides down into my arms.
Oh.
And that was our first kiss. I mean, and I never told that story on a podcast.
Oh,
I
thank
probably
you for that honor. It's so beautiful. I love
I
listening
probably
to
never
the
will.
story.
It's
I
like a
love
movie
it.
moment.
That is a good moment. It really is. Was it
Yeah,
good? I guess so.
that was good.
That's fantastic. It really showcased in terms of when you do your business, the drive that drives you to do what you do and the love that you have for your wife and this beautiful memory. It really gives a deeper meaning, an insight into who Rich is. And, I hope that you guys get to see a little bit about his heart and what he's all about. But he's really good at what it does when it comes to branding. So, part of being in the business, one of the things that I've learned, and I hear it all the time on any business that are out there, and Ellen DeGeneres spoke about it as well, is that knowing your brand, really gaining clarity and knowing what you stand for, it is so crucial. It helps you to decipher all of the other clutter and things that are not aligned to your core values. So what you do is extremely important, Rich. And we had these conversations about my brand and what I wanted to be, and you gave me clarity. I was like, when I was saying, you know what, I wasn't sure if I wanted my brand to stand for luxury because I don't want it to be on a superficial level. And you said, well, that all depends on how you interpret. How about luxuriously generous? And I was like, you hit it. You got it. I can definitely run with that. And I love it. So now
It's
I'm
it's
embracing my
purely you too. I mean, the idea is when you're particularly for personal brands,
yeah,
but you're creating an entity, but it's marked by you because you're the founder. As long no when because
yeah,
it needs to be when it is congruent, that's
yeah,
the word, with your heart, the heart of the champion, the heart of the founder
yeah,
of the brand. That congruence
yeah,
is the first of the four things that make a brand come alive. You see, if you weren't congruent or was disingenuous, or you're just in a brand and you called it something because you thought that would be good,
yeah,
people smell that in a heartbeat. Your brand won't come alive. It'll fall flat, just like so many brands out there that think they have to be something that they're not.
yeah.
Oops, oops. But people don't know. And the world would have you believe
Mhm.
that you need a brand and, someone can give you, put a brand on you so you can become it.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be tricked.
Yeah.
Brands that are really powerful come from inside,
Yes.
and they're totally authentic with
Mhm.
the person, particularly these days. I mean, authenticity, we hear a lot about everything. There was a time, I'd say 20, 30 years ago, when the hypey, everybody kind of did that. And it was like the norm. But there are a couple of generations right in a row to whom authenticity is the thing, and they don't care as much about the product or the company as they do about who's behind it
Yeah.
and why are they doing what they're doing. And when they see an authentic reason and maybe a heart and maybe some philanthropy and maybe a cause and maybe a vision of impact, it changes the way the brand is accepted.
Mhm.
And if anybody ever said, brand loyalty is a thing of the past, I would tell them that's hogwash,
Mhm.
because people fall in love with things they really believe in, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you, when your brand can be, when someone who has been miscommunicated to about branding by the world around them, which is pretty much everybody,
Mhm.
realizes that their brand can give them 100% access to their own authenticity,
Yeah.
and just using a process that starts with the impacts they want to make, and then all the language of the brand, everything it says and does aligns
Mhm.
with those impacts that are in their hearts. Hey, winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's a technical term.
I like that term.
I'm from the South. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's like, yeah. Yeah, it
Um,
makes a big difference. And branding is something that people don't know, they don't trust. Nobody teaches it. They think it's something they have to get from a guru.
mhm.
That's why I wrote my book, Impact Driven Branding,
Yeah.
7 steps to ensure your brand impacts people's lives in the world. It's not a book about branding. We really do not need another book about branding. What
Mhm.
we need is for people to know how to be the champion of their own brand and stand in their own authenticity. Praise God. So be a
Yeah.
wonderful, much better world for them and for everyone else when we do that.
You
Praise
you
God.
you articulate that so perfectly, and that's what it's all comes down to. You hear it often, like when I hear and more now authenticity, it's becoming something that people are really standing by tremendously in a world where it's hard to distinguish between what is being said, lies, and all of these different things. That when you hear it often, like when I listen to various stations or actors and stuff like that, what they really talk about is that, when you get casting on these different things, in Hollywood, if you try to be anybody else than yourself in your authenticity and your uniqueness, then chances are you might land a few gig here and there, but it won't last. But what really makes you stand out is who you are and being true to that person. That's when again you can actually excel and get bigger. So when I look at so many different people who are company that are not aligned with their brand, it doesn't go in terms of a long-term success. So if you're able to capture and to gain clarity on what you truly stand for what you value, that speaks for itself. You don't even have to sell yourself for it.
Right on. And look, it's a life choice. Some people think because of the family they grew up in or the company they hang out with.
Yeah.
I mean, their friends that they hang out with, or the people that are in their pod, that they're going through their career together, that they have to do it a certain way. They can spend a lot of lifetime not feeling comfortable in their own shoes. Why do that? It's always a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so the process of reaching into your heart and asking it, what do I really, what would I lose track of time doing and just really enjoy and go there? That's the thing. The thing we lose track of time doing is a way that God tells us maybe what we ought to be doing. So,
yeah.
yeah. And we only get so much time. So we want to make the most significant impact from the gifts that you've been given. Don't run in a direction that aren't your gifts, so that isn't your joy because you think you have to, or somebody told you had to, or you think you should. Leverage who you really are and find somebody that can help you define and language it. And then you're rocking in the most comfortable pair of shoes you've ever found.
Yes.
Wow. That's living right there. That's when life gets really sweet. And look, a lot of people are not, I grew up in a very happy and very uplifting family, household.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some clients who grew up otherwise. Mm-hmm. There was abuse. There was sexual abuse. Yeah. There were trauma. There were things, and there are a lot of people in the world, billions, in fact, that are challenged mm-hmm. by what they've been through that maybe has had them doubt their own worth. Yeah. Or hold them back in ways they don't even realize, from mm-hmm. racing to the all-powerful self that they've been given. Mm-hmm. What a heartbreak. Yeah. I have several clients. I have one client who's coming out with a book right now. We just turned it in to my publishing partner. It's called The Secret You Hide Holds You Back: How Letting Go Sweetens Life and Makes You Free. It is a world changer. Mm-hmm. From a woman who had a real tough journey with a lot of things mm-hmm. and just stuffed it and never talked about it. And now she wrote a book to heal, and she's going to help millions of people heal. And she did not know anything about branding. Mm-hmm. The name of the book, the chapters in the book, the concept for the book is the first stake in the ground. There'll be 3 other books. Mm-hmm. Those names, the plan, the strategy, it's all impact-driven branding.
Absolutely.
Praise God. And that woman will touch millions. Oh, yeah. And I don't even get to pick who they are. People hear about me or find me, hear me speak, and they go, I never heard anybody talk. He kind of a straight talk fellow. Yeah, that's what we do here. No jargon. We're not trying to entrance you. We're trying to talk straight about like what it really is and what you really need to do, to branding. And it's not fluffy. It's not, airy fairy hoo-ha. It is a process. And when you do it, it works. Mm-hmm. So, mm-hmm. And people find me, and boy, oh boy, some of the most, I've got people in their 80s who have written 18 books and they're not sure what the next level is. And we work together, and now they're going to touch the world at a much higher level. Mm-hmm. And there's unique and aligned language for it. It's like, okay, people in their 20s who are just landing on something they love doing, but they haven't lived in it long enough to have the perspective for what's going to happen and how to avoid the potholes. It's whoever. My mother just corrected my grammar. She's in heaven, but she still talks. It is whom. It is whoever. That's right. It is whoever. It's a predicate nominative. There you go. Whew. Yeah. So thanks, Mom. Hang in there. She's playing. I think she's still playing piano, unless the only thing they have up there is harps. So she's doing something like that because she played piano every day down here. Yeah, and we get to become. That's why we call the name of this "Now is the time to define the brand you will become."
Yeah.
So if you think as a brand as a perception, not some, weirdo thing that you don't trust, it's just the perception of you and who you are and what you stand for, and shaping that perception in a consistent and impactful way that's authentic to you is what branding is all about. So if you never heard it that way, that's the way it is. And now is the time to define the brand you will become. Because the sooner you do it, the sooner you execute it. And we all get to touch the world in as significant a way as we can with these all-powerful gifts that we've been given. And I've been in rooms recently where a guy played football and broke his back, and now he's in a wheelchair since he was 16. But he goes on stage and speaks as an inspiring speaker, and it changes people's lives. His choice. A woman raised in the hood who was abused horribly and was in the foster care system for years. It's like that messes somebody up, seriously. And she comes to the Brand Ranch and works on a brand called 7 Generations of Resilience. It's like, where do these people come from? They come from the world just like you and I do. And you're listening right now, and you know it's you. So now is the time to define the brand you will become. Don't wait. And can I give you a quote?
Sure, absolutely.
So the quote of the day is, what's in your mind is in your life.
That's
So whether you want to refer to books of the Bible or whether you want to refer to, your most recent self-development thing you went to, what you focus on becomes reality. Thoughts are things. And I'm not talking about The Secret. I know that's probably where you heard it, but if you can see it, you can make it happen. It's my experience. I will take that to the bank every day. If you can see it, the impact that you can clearly see having on someone else's life through your gift, your work, that you can clearly see. I am here to tell you, and you just need to trust me. I've been doing it for 46 years. You can define the brand you must become to make that impact. And then everything your brand says and does aligns. There you go. It starts with vision. It starts with vision. The Bible tells us when men have vision, it makes, when men don't have vision, they perish. And that includes women. It's about, So, hey, it starts with vision. What's in your mind is in your life. So be careful what you let in there.
Yes, absolutely.
And focus on what you want. Not on what you don't want, not on what the pain is. Focus on the vision.
I love that message. It's a powerful one. What you think, what you focus on is what you're going to get. And I have to say, like, honestly, when we talked about branding and the discussion, I am so happy that I got the clarity what I wanted for my brand, which is, like we said, luxuriously generous, all about love and all about having fun. And that's what we're doing here. I have such an amazing time. We're coming close to the hours. I want to be able to ask you if there was 2 tips that you can offer to people when they're working with you when it comes to branding. What are some of the things that can help them head into the right direction?
Well, I think we just said one, and that is it starts with your vision of the impact you want to make.
Mhm.
So start there. And if it's difficult because you think, well, I want to help this person, that person, ask your heart, give me one, and then write that one down, including the impacts you see making, and then ask your heart to give you another one. That's the way to do it. But start in your heart. If you do it in your head, believe me, it messes us all up. If you do
Mhm.
it in your head, do it with your heart. So that's number one.
Mhm.
Have the impacts that you want to make come from your heart and get those down. I think the second thing is life is a team sport.
Mhm.
Life is not to be done alone.
Mhm.
And if you were thinking that you can do it all by yourself, or you were raised like I was until I was in my 50s, that if you need it done right, you do it yourself. Boy, that's not, I think that's why I'm such a successful late bloomer. Because life is a team sport.
It really is.
I've learned it by being married for 46 years. And my wife will tell you I'm not always right.
Who is anyway?
But we learn, they say in Italian, si sbagliando si impara. One learns by making mistakes. So it's like, yeah, life is like that. We're meant to be in this together.
Mhm.
And we all have gifts. So if my gift is to define and lift up a brand and give it meaning, and somebody else's gift is to execute the processes and systems, and another person's gift is to do deal making, another person's gift is to do, to create things that are new. I don't have to do all those things. I
Mhm.
get to stay in my lane and get to stay in my zone. The moment we can do that, life becomes even sweeter. And frankly, we become more financially successful.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, although in the beginning, when you're an entrepreneur, and that's my target audience, entrepreneurs who have been successful for quite some time and they're ready to take it to another level, they want to take their impacts higher in some way, higher, praise God, higher, broader, more geography, new media, new messages, new solutions and products and services to the same market, something they want to do higher to take their impacts to a higher level, but
Mhm.
they don't know branding and they get stuck. um it's a process,
Mhm.
and once you know it, you just execute it, and we get to do it with a team because we need all those parts of the team. It's like any life coach will tell you, there's a life wheel, and the one part you don't work on, like your health or your your relationships or your education, will take you out.
Mhm.
Financial, mental, emotional, or spiritual, educational, recreational, whatever you don't work on
Mhm.
becomes your Achilles heel.
Mhm.
And hey, okay, nobody ever said that to you in a wake up, but everybody uses that life wheel. And it's up to us to make sure that it's a team sport, and that we're the best we are the best version of the person that God has made us to be, that we can be. So that's one of the reasons I love what you do. Ree, thank you so much for having me be your guest. I lift you up and what you do and the work you do. The journey you've come through, Ree has, if you haven't really gotten to know Ree, you need to do that. She is a life changer for individuals, and she will be for a lot more than individuals. Her story, her work, the explanations of the impacts and transformations that she's helped make on individuals is absolutely worth listening to, nodding to, and applauding and lifting up. So I love you. I love what you do. Don't stop.
Love you too. You're such a soulful man, so much depth, which brings me to this listening to the universe, because I was going to self-publish my book after listening to you and also getting to know your soul. and I'm going to discover so much about you, which I can't wait because it's so freaking fascinating. But one of my friends said to me, Ree, you can't self-publish this book. It's too good. You're gonna have to go to a publisher. And then so now you're talking, I want to be aligned to a publisher that stands for something more. The book is not about me. The book is my story, it's my memoir, it's my life lesson, but I want it to stand way beyond that, that when I leave this world, it leaves a legacy of something to shine some light so that people don't have to go through the pain and struggle that I've gone through in my relationship that was unhealthy. So we're definitely going to be talking, Rich. And you know, one other thing I want to tell you.
And I want you to not speed up the part where you leave the world. Just stick around for a while. Let the book do its work while you're here too. Okay. Don't say, and when I leave the world, there was, yeah, no. Because you got decades, girl. You're just getting going. So let's get it out there and let it make its impact now.
Thank you so much. I want to say before we end this, something that really stuck out to me is when I first saw you. I've never told this to anybody, but my boyfriend know I love the color gold. And I always said to my boyfriend that gold, for whatever reason, seems to be attracted to me. And when I first saw you on screen with that gold color, you stand for your brand. I mean, talk about wow, bombshell, impact driven, rich brand. I'm like, you nail it, buddy. And more than that is you really know your shit. And also getting to work with you, it's not about working on the branding and all that. It's really working in depth with the person themselves. Not only do you get to, for your company to make it even better and to go to places, but the person who's working with you is actually changing from within. So I thank you for what you do. We so need you. Rich, it's been a fabulous hour together. I can't wait to more collaboration because I truly believe that life is truly a team sport. And whether it's business, you can do it alone, but it might be a long road and it might be one boring and lonely one. But when you do it as a team sport, it's so much more damn fun.
Well, you have a woman with wisdom beyond your years. So I honor you, Ree. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I take your kind words to heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rich. I know that all of the people listening, they're going to be so fascinated in connecting. Rich, please tell them where they can actually reach you, how they can actually contact you if they want to learn more.
The easiest way is go to our website, which is richbrands.org. That's it. RICHBRANDS.org. Don't get the org part wrong, or you won't end up on our website. So, and everything is there. A lot is right on the homepage. It'll tell you how to get on my calendar. It'll get you free videos to answer your frequently asked questions about branding. It'll tell you right on the homepage about the half-day branding you with impact that we do every month to help you get your head screwed on right about what branding really is. And what does it mean branding you? What is that? And what does it mean to define language? And what happens when you define in language a brand? And what happens when you don't? It's straight talk you can trust and deep experience you can count on. And that's what we stand for. So don't kid around. Go there, get an earful, get to the half day. And hey, if you wish, get on my calendar. I'll do a Zoom call with you.
That'd be so good. Definitely reach out to Rich. It's definitely worth it. It's going to be a life changer for your company and the impact that you want to do in this world. Go to the man that's done this for so many years, and he's so damn good at it. So on that note, thank you so much, everybody. I'm wishing you an amazing day. Bye.